The world now uses 50 times as much energy as it did when fossil fuels began. But that energy is not used evenly. The Western world uses many times more energy than the developing world, and North Americans use much more than others in the West. Part of the reason is that energy is so inexpensive in North America that householders barely notice the cost.
No, I don't notice energy as much as I notice the mortgage payments, the maintenance on the house, the upkeep on the house. Tell you, the only time I think about it is, when you hit the peaks and the valleys. So, we went through a really cold winter and we just got our last gas bill. It was huge. And then we noticed there was a significant change. But on a month-to-month basis, no. It doesn't really register as, oh my God, I can't believe what we're paying for hydro or what we're paying for heat.
Viele Leute verstehen das nicht, weil sie denken, ja, Strom kommt aus der Steckdose. Das war ein Slogan aus den 70er und 80er Jahren. Wir denken, da muss man ansetzen in der Kommunikation und den Leuten klar machen, dass das zu einfach gedacht ist. Alte Gebäude haben etwa einen Energiebedarf, der ein Faktor 10 zu hoch liegt.
だからこれまではですね、これまでの科学技術のものすごい発展を考えるとね、誰も永続性を十分考えてこなかったと思うんですよね。本当にものすごい我々は一人のわずか100年くらいの人生の中でね、ものすごい技術の革新、技術の転換が起きてるわけですよ。社会システムの転換が起きてる。いやですから大量の資源を取り出してね、大量の製品を作ってそれを使って大量に今我々ゴミを出してるわけですね。食料に至っては先ほど 50% が廃棄されてるわけですからね。残念ながら金属資源がたかだか 50% くらいしか多分リサイクルされてないと思いますよ。
Developing countries need more energy. In Brazil, there's not enough to keep cities satisfied, and there is nothing at all for many rural areas.
Quer dizer, nunca tivemos, né? Já brigamos, já lutamos muito para a energia nessa região, nessa área, nesse travessão, mas com a hidrelétrica nunca foi possível a energia rural entrar para os agricultores. Aqui nós estamos com um projeto de plantar mandioca, toda essa área, né? 2 hectares de mandioca. No início de dezembro, de novembro até final de dezembro. Só que nós estamos tendo um probleminha. A gente está com esse projeto de plantar mandioca e se criar uma farinheira para a comunidade se tivermos energia. A gente vai ter que estudar para fazer outro projeto, porque aí não vamos plantar, nós vamos plantar mandioca. Como os que vão beneficiar se não temos energia para poder tocar a farinheira? Desde quando a gente chegou aqui nunca teve energia, então a gente sempre, a energia que temos é a vela. A primeira coisa é ter algum eletrodoméstico, né, para poder beneficiar. Por exemplo, minha esposa ter mais, poder dizer assim, mais um conforto, né? Porque aqui a gente não tendo energia, não tem como se a gente conservar um alimento. Por exemplo, eu tenho uma grande despesa usando motor bomba para jogar água. Né? Se eu tiver energia, eu posso ter um motor elétrico e o custo vai ser menos, né?
In great part of the world, burning biomass, in a house, is a main source of energy. It's also a great contributor of air pollution. And this happens a lot. We don't want to see it, but there are countries where more than 50% of the population still uses biomass. Wood, coal, and anything else that they pay for, or anything they can catch around the house, or whatever they can get, garbage.
Globalization creates markets around the world for energy and all the shiny things that come with the fossil-fueled lifestyle made from oil. Everywhere in the developing world today, there is a rising demand for energy. In rich countries, the demand has leveled off, partly because of a weak economy. But in countries like China, India, and Brazil, it is growing exponentially as their middle classes grow. In the developing world, the demand for energy to enjoy the conveniences common in the West overshadows environmental concerns.
So there is the option not to grow or not to develop the economy. It's only the way we do it.
Wealthy countries have so much cheap energy that they waste the majority of it, mostly through heat loss. One challenge in meeting the problem is that energy waste is hard to see, except through infrared. The average home generates an enormous amount of heat, but most of it leaks out through walls and windows.
conservation is always the first step we should take. Why bother generating energy when we could just not use it in the first place? And design is a good solution. We have a long way to go before we can improve our building envelopes to dramatically reduce the energy we consume in our homes. So you can even see in this house, the studs show up when you look through an infrared camera as being colder on the inside face. That's because they're transmitting the cold outdoor air right through the wall to the inside of the house. Although you can see it here, it would look a lot worse in a house that doesn't have exterior insulation. Our first step is to reduce energy demand by increasing insulation and improving air tightness. This building is built hard up against both side lot lines, so we couldn't insulate on the outside of that. And what we did instead was build our stud wall inside of the concrete block. But instead of putting the studs right up against the concrete, we pulled it inside a couple inches and put our insulation between the studs and the concrete block wall. By not having the studs create a thermal bridge, the wall becomes a lot more efficient with the same amount of insulation. By following that approach, the amount of renewables you need is dramatically reduced because your energy load is really small after you've taken those early passive steps.
Ein typisches altes Gebäude aus den 50er, 60er Jahren braucht zum Heizen etwa 15 bis 20 Liter Heizöl-Äquivalent pro Quadratmeter und Jahr. Das heißt, ein typisches Passivhaus benötigt etwa 1,5 Liter Heizöl pro Quadratmeter und Jahr. Für typische Gebäude haben wir eine Dämmschicht von etwa 20 bis 30 Zentimeter. Wir wollen darauf achten, dass diese Dämmung nie unterbrochen wird. Das heißt, Wärmebrücken sollten wir so gut wie möglich vermeiden. Hier ist eine dabei, aber da muss man eben aufpassen. Wir empfehlen dringend, eine luftdichte Gebäudehülle auszuführen. Vierter Punkt, die Fenster sollten auch sehr gut wärmegedämmt und auch luftdicht sein, aber solare Energie, also Sonnenstrahlung, fast ungehindert durchlassen, sodass wir die solaren Gewinne auch teilweise als Heizenergie nutzen können. Nicht nur in Deutschland sind wir der Meinung, wir brauchen Passivhäuser, um die Zukunft energetisch zu sichern.
Frankfurt has a master plan designed to get the city off fossil fuels by 2050. A key part of the plan is the construction of passive houses. Since 2007, the building code in Frankfurt has insisted that all public buildings, such as schools, be built with passive house technique. In the new Rydberg neighborhood, land for homes was originally owned by the city. So Frankfurt was able to mandate that all houses built there be passive.